Good evening and welcome to Chicago Tonight, Black Voices. I'm Brandis Friedman and thank you for sharing part of your weekend with us. On the show tonight, if you haven't cast your ballot for the 2020 election yet, don't worry, there is of course still time to vote. We talk with Board of Elections Commissioner Jonathan Swain about how they're keeping voting safe.
Hello, Chicago!
Were you there? A look back at 2008's unforgettable election night in Grant Park. And this turbulent year spurred the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus to develop an anti-racism agenda. We'll talk to caucus chair State Senator Kimberly Lightford about how black legislators hope to dismantle systemic racism. And good news for science nerds. The Museum of Science and Industry has a new president and CEO. One-on-one with Chevy Humphrey about making history in the world of science.
History may not be well known across the city.
And Tiara Hughes of the Commission on Chicago Landmarks gets the last word on Chicago's neighborhood treasures. But first, some of the top stories from this week. As cases of the coronavirus soar, more parts of the state are beginning to feel the effects of returning COVID restrictions. As of this weekend, all indoor dining and drinking at Chicago restaurants and in a few surrounding counties is suspended. And indoor gatherings are capped at 25 people or 25% room capacity. And this week, on behalf of Chicago Ideas, I also had the privilege of interviewing one of the country's top doctors on the coronavirus, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who heads the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. He addressed how the country's not in a good position against COVID-19.
So now, as we're entering the cooler months in the middle of the fall and soon the cold months of the winter, we're in a very bad position when you think about where we're going, because the trajectory is going up.
And you can watch that entire interview on our website. A woman has filed a federal suit against the city of Waukegan as Illinois State Police and the FBI continue to investigate the police shooting death of the plaintiff's 19-year-old boyfriend. The plaintiff, 20-year-old Tiara Williams, gave an emotional interview from her hospital bed after being wounded in that same shooting.
I kept screaming, "I don't have a gun." But he kept shooting. He told me to get out of the car. I had my hands up and I couldn't move because I had been shot.
And the Waukegan Police Department has made dash cam and body cam video available from that evening, but neither showed the moments of the shooting. The officer who fired the fatal shot was fired from his job more than a week ago. And of course, for the latest news and information, please check out WTTW.com/news. Up next, tips to be sure you're getting your vote in.
Chicago Tonight, Black Voices is made possible in part by Fifth Third Bank and by the support of these donors.
At Fifth Third, we believe when diverse voices are heard and empowered, communities are made stronger, lives are made better, and the future holds greater promise for all. That's why we're proud to support Chicago Tonight Black Voices. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can drive change.
As the endless ads, signs, and reminders to vote have most certainly made you aware, the 2020 election is just 2 days away. But if you haven't yet made it to the polls, there's still, of course, plenty of time to cast your ballot. Joining us to talk about how you can get your vote in is Chicago Board of Elections Commissioner Jonathan Swain. Thank you so much for joining us on Chicago Tonight, Black Voices.
Thank you for having me.
So, of course, we're down to the wire. For those who have not voted already, what's your advice for folks to make sure that they do get their votes in?
Well, my advice is to make sure you plan your vote. So if you have a vote by mail ballot that you have in your possession, make sure you complete that. And I'd encourage you to turn it in at a secure drop box at one of our 51 locations around the city. We'll have drop boxes on Election Day at Wrigley Field, Guaranteed Rate Field, and also the United Center. If you're planning to early vote, you have one more day to go and early vote. And be patient, because typically on the last day of early voting, the lines can tend to get a little bit longer. And if not, plan your vote for Election Day and just make sure you're prepared to have everything that you need to find your polling place. I encourage you to go to chicagoelections.gov to find out all the information that you need.
And so for those who have had mail-in ballots already sent to them, you mentioned some drop boxes. What's the most secure way for them to know that those votes are getting counted? And is it too late, for the U.S. Postal Service to get it to you in time?
Well, in Illinois, as long as the ballot is postmarked by Election Day and received by 14 days after the election, the ballot will be counted. But if you want to make sure that your ballot is surely counted, make sure you turn it in at a secure drop box location. And there are 51 of them around the city. I mentioned the Election Day boxes at the sports stadiums. We also have 26 locations in Chicago Public Libraries. Turn them in, and we pick those up every single night, and we'll be picking them up on election night, and we'll make sure they get counted in appropriate fashion.
And tell us a little bit about what the Board of Elections is doing to make sure that voters who do vote in person are being protected from the coronavirus.
So we've been very diligent working with state health officials, city health officials, to make sure that our polling places have the appropriate resources they need to make sure that the coronavirus impacts do not bleed over to voters. And so all of our polling places have been expanded to have enough space for both social distancing. We're making sure they have the appropriate PPE, shields, masks, hand sanitizer, and everything you need. And we're making sure we're being diligent about keeping 6 feet when it comes to lines. So voters have been very patient and been working with us, and we're pretty confident about all the protections that we have in place.
Now, do you expect that the vote by mail process could slow down the vote tallying and verification process? Like, can we expect delays to learn who the winners of some races are?
Well, of course, it always depends on how close the races are in our jurisdiction and in the ballot referendums. I can tell you as of today, over 70% of the vote by mail that has been sent out has been returned, which is significant. And so we expect to have a lot more come in through our drop boxes. But having the drop boxes in place, I think, will help speed up that process. So a lot of it just depends on how close the races are. But we expect to have a great portion of the ballot in by 7 o'clock on election day.
70% have already returned, you say? That sounds
70%
significant.
have already returned their ballots, yes.
Yes, okay. Are you aware of any threats to voter or any voter intimidation in the area?
No, I am not aware of any of those type of things. And, on election day, we make sure we have the appropriate resources at our office in case there are issues that we need to address, and sending field attorneys out, investigators out, and field supervisors out to make sure that everyone can cast their vote in peace.
Okay, Chicago Board of Elections Commissioner Jonathan Swain, thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you.
Absolutely. And be sure to check out our WTTW News voter guide. There you can search for candidates by race or district and hear from them in their own words. That's at WTTW.com/voter guide. Now we're throwing it back to a chilly November night in 2008. You know what you're about to see, Chicago.
Hello, Chicago. If there is anyone out there who still It's the answer told by lines that stretched around schools and churches in numbers this nation has never seen, by people who waited 3 hours and 4 hours, many for the first time in their lives, because they believed that this time must be different, that their voices could be that difference. It's the answer spoken by young and old, rich and poor, Democrat and Republican, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, gay, straight, disabled and not disabled, Americans who sent a message to the world that we have never been just a collection of individuals or a collection of red states and blue states. We are and always will be the United States of America.
Night that went down in history, of course. And as the events of 2020 have laid bare the many racial inequities in government and social systems, the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus has set forth its agenda aimed at eliminating systemic racism. At hearings and public events across the state, Black legislators and leaders have made their case to the public.
It is well past due that investment takes place in our communities. And what that investment requires, at the very least, every single black address in the state of Illinois, every single black community, at the very least, it requires $1 billion of investment from the southern part of this region to the very north.
And joining us now is the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus Chair, State Senator Kimberly Lightford. Senator, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So let's start by going through these pillars, please. If you would, briefly, a little bit about the first one, criminal justice reform.
Yes, Pillar 1 is criminal justice reform, violence reduction, and police accountability. We all know in the wake of George Floyd, there was a cry across this country for more police accountability, African Americans, Blacks being killed far more than any other race at the hands of the police. And we've been doing quite a bit of work around that space. We've held 7 subject matter hearings, having discussions from training to chokeholds, areas and ways we can reduce violence in our community, as well as holding the police accountable for excessive force. So it's a wide range of topics that the subject matter hearings have been addressing.
And then of the other 3, one of them is economic access, equity, and opportunity. A bit about that.
Yeah, what I really love about that pillar, it just clearly has shown the economic stability that our Black community has lacked because of a lack of supports in the state's procurement process, of lack of housing, land use, gentrification, poor banking and investment opportunities for Blacks. It's just really given an array of how entrepreneurship is not available in the Black community, and where banks are actually lending, and they're not lending to Black people in this state, and particularly around Chicago land area. And so there's a lot to show in that space.
And there's also education and workforce development.
Yes, which is my passion, of course, one of my favorite subjects. And we've taken a very equity lens look from early childhood education through K through 12, higher education, and workforce development. We're painting a picture of what it looks like for a Black mother to walk their kid through a public school system in the state of Illinois.
And of course, healthcare and human services, something that we've been seeing a lot of and hearing a lot of discussion about this year.
Oh, quite a bit around healthcare and human services, which COVID just told us what we already knew in the Black community: the lack of access for quality healthcare, the lack of supports into safety net hospitals that are more than likely in Black communities, the way that there is billions of dollars spent, but Black entrepreneurship, small Black businesses are not receiving procurement opportunities and access in the healthcare space, as well as in spaces around CMS, Department of Transportation, our university system, and so forth.
And Senator, of course, you've had quite a few hearings, as you mentioned. What are you hoping to get accomplished, especially coming up in the veto session?
Well, our end goal here is not that what I just heard coming in, that we need $1 billion for every community. That was in the Days of Action. One of our commissioners was speaking. As the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus, we've been engaging with our colleagues across the state on these inequities and disparities that we've lived with, and that all of our generations preceding us have also lived with. There is institutional racism that's embedded in our Constitution and in our laws. And during our research, we found that we have passed laws through the years that just were never implemented. And what a loss that has been. There's been no accountability or oversight in the procurement process. And I'm hoping that we can continue to engage our colleagues so that they can be supportive of our agenda when we bring them forth. So it's been a good exchange. Our experts have been amazing with research and data and information. And I believe that we are building a case that will be respected amongst our colleagues and across the state.
Senator Lightford, with all that's gone on this past year, why do you think this is the time for this agenda?
Oh, this has to be the time. There is no other time. I've been in the legislature now for 22 years, and I've never seen passion and compassion amongst people as I see it now. As I walked in those parades and as I shared protests with many people, they didn't look like me, those that were standing next to me. I think all of us across the country, it's just a feeling of there has to be change. Enough is enough. All of us matter. All of our communities matter. And there's just a well-known social injustice that has been sweeping this country. And it's important that the Black Caucus in Illinois take the lead with our legislative agenda. And hopefully it will spark interest in Black caucuses all across this country to implement ways to improve and uplift the lifestyles of Black Americans.
And what's next for the agenda and the caucus? When can we expect to see a legislative package based on the hearings that you've been having?
Well, veto session starts November 17th. We know that we're in the midst of COVID. We were in Springfield back in May for our budget. We're trying to factor in how we can all come to a place and get our agenda done, as well as there's other items on our list outside of the Black Caucus. From my Senate Majority Leader had, we have to address ethics. We've got a couple other items that are near and dear that we need to get addressed before the year closes out. So we're really pushing to make it to Springfield.
Absolutely, we'll be listening out for you before the year ends. Okay, State Senator Kimberly Lightford, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And up next, meet the new president and CEO of the Museum of Science and Industry, Chevy Humphrey, in a conversation recorded earlier. History is being made at the Museum of Science and Industry. Chevy Humphrey will be the first woman and the first Black American to become president and CEO of the museum. But she's coming in facing the challenge of keeping Chicagoans immersed in the museum experience during a pandemic. Joining us now is Chevy Humphrey, the new president and CEO of the Museum of Science and Industry, who will take on the job in January. It's going to be a hard time to move to Chicago in January. It'll be cold, but congrats on the new position, Chevy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be coming to Chicago.
So you said that leading MSI, the Museum of Science and Industry, has been an aspiration of yours throughout your career. Tell us why.
Yes, my first visit at the Arizona Science Center, a first business trip, was to MSI Chicago to see the Titanic exhibition. And when I walked in, I literally was amazed and awe. And I told my then boss, you know what, I'm going to work here one day. And she said to me, well, you need to get your job done in Arizona first, and then you can come here. And I've always known that MSI was the place for me.
And speaking of, the job that you did at the Arizona Science Center where you are currently, you were able to grow the assets there from $3 to $42 million and triple the number of visitors. Have you completed the job there? Because it sounds like it since you're moving to Chicago soon, but what is your directive for MSI?
The job is never done. It's always about ensuring that you have the highest impact in your community. And, one of the things I plan on doing when I come to MSI is really listening and understanding and getting to know the people of Chicago and the civic and business leadership to educators and students. And I just want to understand what's needed and how we can fill the need at MSI.
How do you plan on accomplishing your goals when you get to MSI, especially during a pandemic?
Every day is a day to learn things from the community, but also to really looking at the finances, really looking at the organization, and looking at how we can leverage and build off of the great foundation that has been built by the leadership at MSI and the Board of Trustees.
When you look back at your time at the Arizona Science Center, what are some of the programs and the initiatives that you're proud of implementing that led it to, a lot of the success that we just mentioned?
I'm really proud of the connection and the relationship of inclusive relationships, I would say, with our community. We are in every county in the state of Arizona. We actually support every rural community. And we've grown our teacher professional development programs as well as our free school admission programs within the state. And so I'm most proud of those accomplishments. In addition to bringing great exhibits to Arizona that have never been seen before in the world. So there's been a lot of great excitement in Arizona, and I hope to bring that same impact strategy to MSI.
Now, as we mentioned, you're the first Black person in this role. You're the first woman in this role. Why do you think it's taken so long?
Wow. It's a very difficult and very humble question to ask. I think that people just need opportunities and the chance to really show what they have and show their skill sets. And I think that it's about breaking those barriers and being models for a role model for others. I set out on the course of, I had a dream that I wanted to achieve, and I worked really hard. But at the end of the day, it takes others and people to believe in you, and it takes others to help you get to that next level. And I hope in my role at MSI that I can do that for other young women, other young brown and Black people, and young people as a whole, because I think that setting those goals and achieving those goals is very important.
Do you think you will be able to use your new position once you begin it to increase equity both in the science and the museum industries?
Yes, and over the past 15 years as being CEO, I've mentored many people, young people, people of color, men, women in our field to CEO roles and to grow within their organizations. And I believe a very important part of being a leader and the responsibility of a leader is to mentor others and help them achieve their goals.
What advice do you have for other young Black people who may be considering a career, or to encourage them about that?
Don't give up. Set a goal, set a strategic plan for yourself, and you can do this. Go after your dreams, but never give up.
Okay, Chevy Humphrey, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in a very cold January.
I look forward to it. I did buy a coat.
Good plan. Up next, the last word. But first, to Paris Schutz and what's on tap for Chicago Tonight this week.
Brandis, we've got a lot going on this week. Election day is finally here. We have the latest on heated races, voter turnout, and more. Plus, will voters change Illinois' income tax system from a flat rate to graduated? That's all this week at 7 here on 11.
Our city gets a lot of attention for its soaring skyscrapers and ornate downtown buildings. But there's more to Chicago architecture than what's in the loop. Tiara Hughes, a member of the Commission on Chicago Landmarks, gives us the last word on neighborhood buildings she believes are worth fighting for.
I'm Tiara Hughes, one of 9 voting members on the City of Chicago Landmarks Commission. Our commission is responsible essentially for what becomes the built legacy of Chicago. There's 9 voting members that all come together each month to decide what properties gain landmark status. I am one of the commissioners that I'm newer. I was brought on about a year ago, and I serve as an advocate for communities of color. Something that I want to bring to everyone's attention is the shift that I've noticed to paying more attention to our neighborhoods and the landmarks that exist within those. We get a lot of high rises, we get a lot of buildings that are in the established communities that are an easy yes because they have architectural significance. They have history that are well known associated with them. Whereas buildings, modest buildings like the one I'm standing in front of, history may not be well known across the city. Most recently, the commission voted for the Emmett Till and Mobley home to pass the first stage of becoming a landmark. This is a very small, modest, 2-flat building. Doesn't have a lot of architectural significance, but the history and the culture and the context surrounding that property based our decision to unanimously vote yes. Similar to this building behind me, the Forum, you can see all across the facade of this building, it talks about the history, the culture, the context, all of the uses that's been in the past. I look forward to the day that the Forum comes before the Commission for us all to vote yes. The time is now for our Commission to vote yes to preserving the historic fabric of these local communities.
Again, that's Tiara Hughes of the Commission on Chicago Landmarks. And that's our show for this Sunday night. Be sure to check out our website, WTTW.com/news, for the very latest from WTTW News, including our voter guide. And join Paris Schutz and me tomorrow at 7 on Chicago Tonight. Now, for all of us here at Chicago Tonight Black Voices, I'm Brandis Friedman. Thank you for sharing part of your weekend with us. Stay healthy and safe, and have a good night.
Closed captioning is made possible by Robert A. Clifford and Clifford Law Offices, representing dozens of families in the crash of a Boeing 737 MAX 8 jet. Mr. Clifford has been named lead counsel in litigation in federal court in Chicago.